Yo,
Hi,
yo,
besties.
yo. That's like an
We're
abrupt
back.
ending.
Hello, friends. Oh, we've missed you so. My my background's fuzzing away, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. How are you all doing? Welcome to Tuesday Night
Is
Besties.
your background fuzzy or is everything just fuzzy because it's your birthday and you're feeling just a little bit fuzzy right now?
I'm always feeling a little bit fuzzy, but I would
There
say
we
I'm
go.
feeling particularly fuzzy at this time.
Oh, I was
I
hoping.
will I will say I don't know the rules and I don't want to get any of us in trouble. But perhaps this is a birthday brown liquor, perhaps it's iced tea or apple juice,
Let's
but I'm
go.
going to show it, and if you guys can guess what it is, then I'm going to just do it just in your faces. So you've got to guess. It is a birthday, it is a brown liquor. It is from my country of origin, which is America.
Ooh,
So I'll let you
ooh. That was so
actually.
vague. But
Very
before we
vague.
even get started, before we even talk NXT, everybody, send those slam chats, slamchats.com. It is Amanda's birthday. Send it straight to Amanda. You can hit her up on Instagram too. You can send it straight to her however you want to. She's a wonderful person. Today is her birthday, and she still decided to come on here and spend it with all the besties. So shout out to Amanda for that.
It is actually, it's just my birthday week. It's on Thursday. But
Every day is your birthday then.
every day is my birthday this week, as far as
Every
I'm
day.
concerned. Jordan's here. Thank you so much for being with us. Exciting to see you.
What up, Jordan?
Yeah, totally. Call it a night after this or catch up with us tomorrow. It's cool. It's whatever. We appreciate you being here, Jordan. You know who I bet is going to be here at some point? And I'm not going to jinx it. Because if he doesn't make an appearance, but I did make sure that they're on point because I'm not trying to.
There you go.
Play in anyone's face regarding the eyebrow situation. How was NXT tonight for you?
It was good. It was good. A great tease going up to next week. I mean, everybody's getting ready for the big show in Atlanta. There's a lot going on. I don't know how they're going to fit it all in the in the 2-hour frame that we got, but look, we got banger after banger coming next week, and we had some bangers tonight too. So I thought it was a good show tonight.
Very good. It is. I think NXT has been on fire. I don't think there's been any shows on the CW so far that I've been like, oh, I didn't really care about what this was going on. I think like it's getting more and more exciting. Yeah, so we should just go through it, perhaps.
Yeah, we can skip the first match because it was just that forgettable. No, I'm just kidding. The first match, so everything got started. We had 2 title matches tonight, by the way, folks. 2. Count them, 2. On a show leading up to a big show that's in Atlanta, Georgia. We still had 2 title matches. So that's a good way to start. And both men's title matches. I've been preaching on here for a long time, Amanda, how I've been wanting NXT to book the men's division as well as they book the women's division. Because the women's division, as we know, is just chefed every week by Chef Michaels. It is just perfect every week. And the men's divisions needed to catch up. It's been kind of lackluster. Oba won the title, and I think that got some excitement, but been waiting for it. And I think this week was a step in the right direction. You start off with the North American Championship, which we didn't get any Tony D stand and deliver. So, or not stand and deliver, New Year's Evil. So I was excited to see Tony D back in action. North American title match tonight to start NXT against our favorite, Ridge Holland.
I'm just really pleased that Tony D still won because I love the family and I love them. I like him as champion. I don't like Ridge Holland that much.
You can say it louder. Don't be scared.
I don't like Ridge Holland that much. Were we meant to
It might be a first time, and it might be what's in the cup. Maybe first time I've heard Amanda say she don't like somebody on this show or Monday Night Besties. I'm not a personal fan either of his running NXT. I understood what they were trying to do towards the beginning, and that's why I said we could have skipped the first match. It was just very forgettable. Honestly, What happened after the match was a little bit more to talk about because I know you love the D'Angelo family, but I don't know if you missed it. Might be breaking up. Did you miss that part?
They could be breaking up. I know that NXT likes to tease me though, and I feel like I have written so many stories about faction tease breakup, blah blah blah, that it makes me sometimes think that they just like do it to cause a kerfluffle.
Yep.
And that is my excuse for why I refuse to believe that we could see the end of the family. But yeah, it would actually make sense for them to sort of part ways at this point. I do think that we may be seeing. I think it's unlikely that you see a whole faction like that all go to the main roster at the same time. Like they didn't even do it with the Legado del Fantasma, right? Like it was a little bit like I could see that there could be like a bigger plan in place, like where it makes sense for them to break up. But I would just be so sad because I do enjoy them so much together.
Yeah. So what
do you think would get called up though?
I mean, at the very least, Tony Diaz, he is long overdue to be called up. And what we're alluding to, folks, in case you missed it tonight on NXT, it was a quick part, so you might have missed it. But after the match, so Tony D had his match at the beginning, and then later on, Stax Lorenzo and Luca Crucifino had a match against Brooks Jensen, and I think it was Nico Vance was his name. I'm new to that name and that person. So, but Nico Vance and Brooks Jensen gets the win. Obviously, Sean Spears got involved in the match and helped them win. And Stax and Crucifino are looking around. Where's Tony D? Where's our backup? Tony D's nowhere to be found. And so they're going back, backstage, walking around looking for him. And they finally run into him. And Tony D's just chilling, talking to Izzy Dame, just chilling, appears to be just chilling while they've been out there getting beat and jumped. So they were not very happy, obviously, and questioned, why weren't you there with us? Why weren't you there for us? And we're there for you, right? So a little bit of, I don't really want to say turmoil. It's really not that deep yet, but like a little bit of miscommunication within the D'Angelo family tonight. And I personally am not a big fan of splitting up factions. I'm a big fan of factions, and I think that is part of what makes wrestling fun, is having groups. I grew up watching factions and love, WCW and early WWF and WWE. Factions to me are always what resonate. So I don't like breaking up factions. When you have a good one that works, I don't like breaking it up obviously they can't all last forever, but sometimes it just makes sense to keep them together. You don't always have to. I feel like we get a little bit obsessed, like talking about, so-and-so is going to turn on so-and-so. And it's like, I get a little tired of, forecasting that. So, but the D'Angelo family had a little miscommunication tonight. So we could be in the midst of the end of the D'Angelo family.
Do you feel like Izzy Dame is a secret operative?
Yes. Yes, because this isn't the first time that she's been caught talking to Tony. Yeah. So,
and I think she's like almost pretending to not be with Sean Spears, but is in fact with Sean Spears and them. So yeah, that makes sense.
100%. Yeah, you're on it. I think that's exactly what's going on.
You know what? I've written more stories about Grayson Waller and Austin Theory breaking up than almost anyone on earth, and they are obviously still rolling because they were there tonight as well. There were some main roster appearances. What did they end up getting up to? Because I do think that I walked away and I didn't actually see what they did.
Waller and Theory?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were, first of all, just messing with Ava when they first got there and asked her, because obviously A-Town down under, A-Town next week. So Theory's like, hey, can we do the Grayson Waller effect live, next week? So they're going to be doing the Grayson Waller effect with Obafemi and I'm assuming Trick now, because Trick came out. So the main event tonight was Obafemi defending the title against Eddie Thorpe. And Oba comes out with the victory. Obviously, I'm sure that doesn't shock anyone. He just won the title, so he's not going to lose it on a normal weekly NXT taping. So Oba keeps the title. Trick comes out afterwards and basically says, I got next. Not really next. I get my rematch. So he comes out, and then Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are shown up top above the ring, saying, basically teasing next week that they'll be on the Grayson Waller effect.
There we go. That's exciting.
So we get Oba Trick.
Oba Trick.
I don't know if it's next week yet, though. I haven't seen if it was like officially announced or anything, but they're definitely teasing it to happen at some point.
Exciting. Very good. What was your best of the best tonight?
Oh, by far, the promo between Bayley, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Julia. By far, my favorite part. So much women dominance in that ring all at one time. So much now and future. Like, there's just so much talent in that ring. And listening to the WWE NXT crowd giving Cora Jade and Roxanne that Dominic Mysterio treatment. Wouldn't even let them talk. I felt a little bit bad for a little bit of it because you can tell, like, it kind of threw them off at first. Like, Roxanne and Cora, you could see them get kind of a little uncomfortable. Like, you can kind of see their body language change a little bit because they haven't been booed like that. Like, they're booed, but not like that. Not to that.
Right.
So they didn't know how to react to that. So I felt bad for a minute, and then they tried to talk over the crowd. It didn't work. I loved not Roxanne. I loved Bayley and Julia. The response to it, they're like, "Look, we can't hear you. Like, we don't hear anything you're saying. Like, they're just booing you so loud. Like, we don't know what you're saying." I want to give. So that's my best of the best, and I want to give also like a 1B situation for best of the best. I really want to give some love to Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. Their English is so good. Like, they've been here in such a short time, and their English is already they're already cutting promos in English. It's impressive. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to learn a new language that quickly, how much time they've probably put in. So definitely wanted to give them some love too. So best of the best definitely was the promo with those 4 women. And then at the same time, got to give some love to Stephanie and Julia.
I think that the NXT women's division is so exceptional that it is sort of one of those embarrassment of riches situations where I don't think that until you actually compare it across the shows, I don't think that there is, like, I can't think of a better place for Bayley to be. I know that she just got like switched over to Raw, but it seems like there's these really powerful multi-generational stories that they haven't quite executed on the main roster in the same way that I get excited when I see, like, I'm a big fan of, remember Natalya and NXT? I feel like she did a lot for Carmen Petrovic, but it did a lot for her as well. Like, it kind of just revitalized her as more of a force type character versus just like this lady who's here almost. Like, I think we, in the main roster perspective, kind of forget about how sometimes particularly in the women's division, there are, it's like current legends. Like, I heard New Day yesterday call themselves walking legends or something, like walking legends, I think is what Xavier Woods said. But it was, I was like, yeah, this is like walking legends. You know what I mean? This is really exciting. And I also really am, just from like a personal level, I think that Bayley and Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez are very much like real life connected in that way. And so them getting to work together as friends, but also just to kind of create something that, as you said, I don't think we've ever seen Cora Jade or Roxanne Perez booed like that ever. And that's something that I really think is, there's a few names in WWE that pop up as kind of having that impact where you think that you can see where their work on screen is reflective of their desire to push people forward behind the scenes. And I just think that NXT does it better than anyone else. So it's super cool. Like, those two deserve the Dom level heat, you know? And if it takes Bayley there to amp it up and like to have sort of a side character for Julia and also to supplement so that she doesn't have to try to have these, that they can still have these one-to-one microphone moments, but without having to rely on her, just, I think that would just be really difficult to be able to respond in an off the cuff manner, especially like not in your native language. That's just so incredibly difficult that it's exciting time in NXT. Next week should be fun, but I get just as excited for the lead up to WrestleMania and NXT as I do the main roster because something is always brewing this time of year. It has started, people. It's Mania season. It's here. It's on. I suppose it's really on when it's at Royal Rumble, but it's okay. Do we see each other again before you go? Yes, we do. Yeah.
Next week we got one more show before I go.
Next week is going to be a special edition.
Let's go. I might come with a brown cup.
Yes.
I might come with a little something in my cup next week. How about that?
Yes. That's a good one. There are, I don't know if I did it wrong because honestly, let's be real, Amanda put the stream together and I don't know if I clicked the right buttons, but there's no one in the chat. And so I miss you, MDB. Shout out to our friends, the weekly squad. Who else comes? Matthew.
Yep.
I don't want to forget anyone.
We got a lot of Ed usually chimes in. Asterisk chimes in sometimes. They do an NXT show too.
Besties.
So what was your worst of the worst? What did you not enjoy tonight? For me, it's still I am still not feeling Carmen Petrovich and Ashante. Not feeling the love triangle, whatever is going on with them, and I think Nikita's involved. I'm just not feeling it. It doesn't feel real. I'm disconnected from it completely. You can feel the crowd is too. That match between Carmen and Jada tonight, everyone was just wanting to see Jada, who had new music tonight. I don't know if anyone caught that.
Oh,
Jada came out to new music tonight. Ooh. So that threw me off. But Carmen beats Jada thanks to interference from Kalani Jordan, who had an altercation with Jada earlier on in the night. Kalani Jordan's in the midst of a heel turn, in case anybody hasn't put the signs together, that they've been showing us for a while. I'm ready for it. I am here for it. I think she needed a little bit of a character turn.
I agree.
So, but I'm not feeling the Carmen, Asante Samuel, Adonis, wherever his name is. I'm not feeling it.
One of these how they have there's a million news stories a day, but one that I saw yesterday was that there was just a big discussion around a gal in AEW. Who even cares? It's not specific or important to this story, but what the sentiment that I saw arise from that discourse was that their women's division has already lapped that person. So now that they're back in action and they're back from injury and all of these different factors, it's there's not necessarily no place for you, but what is your place? Mm-hmm. And it's so I hate saying it and I don't want to sound like a hater, but what is the place for Nikita Lyons in this WWE NXT women's division, right? I'm not interested in watching her jump around with, or potentially, I'm not saying she's going to injure people, but I'm just saying when she popped up was sort of a different era of NXT. Yeah. And I think she, I'm sure she's a really good wrestler. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, but they're not showing her wrestling. They're showing her trying to steal people's boyfriends.
Right.
And so if you want me to believe her as a competent wrestler, that has to be demonstrated. And if you don't want to show that if that's not her character role, then make it clear she's a manager, a valet or whatever, and just call it a day, because I don't think it's fair to anyone else in that story to be in that story.
Agreed. And alluding to what you're talking about too, that's why when they showed, remember I don't know how long ago it was, but remember they showed backstage Obafemi giving Nikita her coat?
Yeah.
I was really hoping that they were doing something with that. Because her being,
she helped him or something, right? And then it was
so it felt like they were going towards something with that, and then they just nope, you're over here in the love triangle. And it's like,
and I also thought the love triangle ended because when I watched, what did I see? Oh, it was last week, right? They like made it official or something. I watched some kind of thing and I was like, oh, okay, great. They kissed, they made it official. They're going to just, we'll be done with this. I don't have to do this anymore. And then we continue to do it. So yeah, that's a fair.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Look, I don't want to sit here and then like, it has to be 100% wrestling and wrestling storylines only. Like, no, that's not my style. Like, sometimes I can, I'm goofy. I can get a little goofy. I can have some fun. Like, that's who I am. But like at some point though, you got to look at the story and be like, this might be a little too goofy. This might be a little
I'm Oscar the Grouch. I love trash. I love the backstage stuff. I love a love triangle. I'm still pissed. Like, when's the last WWE wedding we've seen? Triple H? When have you done a wedding?
Technically, wasn't it Dexter Lumis and Indy?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
But I don't know if he can take credit for that. Can he take credit for that? I'm just saying.
It's true.
Triple H, you owe me a wedding at some point in the next 12 months. Let's talk about it. Except probably not, but Shawn Michaels could do it because Mr. Hickenbottom will get the job done on that wrestling wedding. And maybe that's what we're going for. Maybe there's like this big picture thing that we don't understand. One of my favorite thoughts on life is that you might be in the parade of your life. And sometimes when you're at a parade, you're just like looking at a horse taking a shit, Before the next thing comes, before the next float, before the next cool thing to look at, you're just like looking at some animals' butts. So we might just be we might not be seeing the parade float right now, but I don't see the float and I don't understand. I don't understand what we're doing with that. So that's okay. That's cool.
We both had the worst of the worst.
Well, I don't even want to say my worst of the worst because I feel guilty about it because it's just, I feel like the discourse and you know what I mean? Like how the shenanigans roll. But I didn't like commentary tonight as much as I usually do.
Didn't like Corey Graves in the mix.
It's not that I didn't.
I thought Corey was pretty good tonight, actually.
I didn't think that. Yeah, and okay. Let's note, however, that a standard across Monday night and Tuesday Night Besties is that what? Amanda doesn't like change. So when things first change, I don't always love it. And I do think that that's potentially what it is because I think even on Mondays, I didn't like Joe Tess at first. I was like, no, I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like it at first. So it's just,
I didn't like Lillian Garcia back either.
No, still don't, but that's my problem, not anyone else's. But okay, so this is my pledge. It is January 21st. We'll check back in 1 month and I will probably have January a completely 21st. Different perception of Corey Graves and like what he adds to the mix. I think that I don't want the dynamic between Vic and Booker T to get messed up because I love the fact that they are I like a vibe where one person is like the eager puppy. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's very like golden retriever, black cat energy between them. Booker is very much like, oh, and like Vic is excited to tell him things. And then he gets shot down fairly often. And it's just like they have a fun dynamic.
I love when his videos, like when his commentary gets cut, like when somebody like cuts a snippet of it, of Booker T, when Stephanie Vaquer's doing her move. It's like, I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna redo it. Like, you got to just know what I'm talking about, okay? But like Booker can clearly, like my girlfriend always says when we're watching, she guarantees that he sleeps on the couch every night when he gets home.
Yeah, I think Tuesday nights are probably difficult. Yeah, I do not think that. That's probably not going over.
We get a lot less of that with Corey on commentary. So if you're not a fan of that Booker, then you definitely like tonight. I thought Corey was pretty good. Obviously, there's been a lot of rumors this past week or so about Corey Graves and his his frustrations with being booted off the main roster shows and is now in NXT. Then people were leading us to believe that it was a work.
Yeah.
It seems very real. All his posts have been deleted since, he expressed his frustrations on social media. He definitely looked very displeased. Not this week, but a couple weeks ago when he was on NXT. He looked very displeased, did not look happy, looked very uncomfortable. And tonight he seemed like got a couple weeks off. I got the chance to, kind of sit back and, we all get in our feelings sometimes,
Yes.
And he just has to realize like it's not a demotion. Like NXT is as good as it's getting right now. It's not a demotion, man. We love watching NXT every week, just like we like watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. So I think he's realized that at least, and is enjoying living in the moment right now. And I thought tonight was pretty good. I'm genuinely not the biggest Corey fan on commentary anyway. Just me personally.
Yeah.
But I think him and Vic actually work decently together. I think they're pretty decent.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll stay 3, or I worry that I worry Booker will get edged out. That's basically what
That's what, I've seen some people say that on social media. That
I don't know. Like, listen, again, for the millionth time, I do not know anything. I do not know anyone. I've literally never met a wrestler.
Kind of tough to boot out a Hall of Famer, though. Kind of tough to boot out a Hall of Famer.
No, I don't think like full on like give him the boot. I think just more like piloting it with all 3 of them, and if it isn't super successful, maybe like offering him a reduced schedule similar to Pat or something, so that it's a little bit like that they rotate things around just like a little bit more, so that it isn't so. So I guess we could anticipate this happening again in the fall. And then what are you going to do? You have Corey come back. Like, you don't, as Corey, you don't want to feel like you're getting like side checked in your own job. Like, which I understand his comments that ended up being deleted. So in my mind, once they delete it, I don't like talking about it anymore. So it's okay. Yeah. But like, so I just notably, I don't like change. So that was my low hanging fruit of like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. I do think my best of the best was also Bayley in them. So
that was definitely the best part of the night. And that wasn't even a match. We have about 10 minutes left in the show, y'all, before we get out of here. There's another show that starts at 11. So we want to make sure to be out of here. It's the GCW, the Game Changers podcast. They're joined by Brett Lauderdale, the owner of GCW. I think every Tuesday, if not every other Tuesday. I'm not entirely sure, but they got him at 11 o'clock. So we want to be sure to be out of here. That big GCW show was crazy. And so I know they probably got a lot to talk about that. So we'll make sure to be out at the top of the hour. But until then, get the comments in. We want to say hello to each and every one of you, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, wherever. We definitely want to see all the comments and see all our besties. But a big night that leads to Atlanta next week. I'm trying to make sure we didn't forget anything. I think we mentioned, Oba won the main event again, beat Eddie Thorpe to keep the title. Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance beat Stax and Crucifino in a tag match. Carmen beat Jada Parker with the small package roll-up pin. And Jada, Kalani Jordan are in a feud. Oh, we missed the Heritage Cup rematch. Lexis King and Charlie Dempsey got a new one. Lexis King just can't stop cheating. Lexis King keeps the Heritage Cup.
Old habits die hard,
Yeah, he can't stop cheating.
You can't make a whole housewife, Lexis King. Well, no, not like I'm not saying it to him. He's the house, but you can't make a housewife. He has a very beautiful girlfriend, and they post like very cute videos together a lot. There's a couple people I
haven't seen.
She may have been in NXT and then like released or something.
Really? Yeah. I have to look. I didn't know. That's your realm for sure. You keep up on that stuff a lot.
Yeah, but I don't want anyone to misconstrue that I was saying that Lexis King should not do that. I'm saying that he is the hoe that you cannot make a housewife because he cannot stop cheating. He cannot keep it together. He's in the streets, so don't trust him.
In the streets. That's the quote. Another match we didn't mention, Dion Lennox finally. I don't think we've got to see him a lot. Dion Lennox had a match on NXT today against Wes Lee after Wes Lee got smacked across the face by Trick Williams earlier in the night. Wes Lee beat Dion Lennox. I think it was about 3-minute match tops. Maybe 3 minutes. I'll give him that. But still, Deion Lennox gets on TV, another NXT level up guy I've been used to watching for the past year or so. We're watching some of the locker room get a little bit more TV time. I know they're trying different things with the men's division, Amanda, but it's just they got to figure out something. Like it's not even close. Like as great as NXT is, right? Just imagine if they booked the men's division half as good as they do the women's division.
Yeah.
It's not about how many stars you have. Like I get it. The women's division has a lot more. You know, you got Stephanie that came, you got Zarya that came, you got Julia that came. I get it. But you brought just as many to NXT, and then you called up Dragon Lee too early, in my opinion.
Because where'd he go? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like even now you got Obafemi, you got Trick Williams, you still got Ethan Page, you got Javon Evans, you still got plenty of people that you can build. Wes Lee's still there, Tony D's still there, tons of talent. You got Sean Spears that you brought back, tons of talent on this roster that I think it's just got to be booked better. And like right now, like I'm glad Opa's the champion, and I'm glad Tony D's the champion. So that's a start. Two great champions, but like the storylines have to hit a little bit harder. I think they're trying though. They're trying, and I think this week was a step. Like I said earlier, was a step in the right direction.
Are there any singles men that are faces? Is it only Javon Evans?
I think Trick Williams, Javon Evans. That's tough.
Because I feel like everyone else is
Fraxium, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're not singles. They're
not really. Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't.
Because it's like there's a lot of compelling characters, but unless you're
all
doing. Yeah. And so then you end up with. Like, I thought the pivot.
I feel like Oba is a baby face, though.
Yeah, me too. So I think that he's probably easily able to.
It's kind of in between, but like, I feel like he's a baby face more than a heel.
Yeah. I think we are at one of those stalemates in the year where you're kind of waiting for, like, they're not benching Trick. Everyone still loves to see Trick, but also don't we kind of all know Trick's out of here? Like, Trick's moving on up.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in this like holding pattern that I think felt similar to me last year with Ilya Dragunov, where it was like, okay, damn, are we just gonna do January to April? We're still gonna go with like this last feud again and again because we're kind of just like waiting for the main dude to move on so that this other guy can become the top face sort of a thing. Yeah. And I just don't know if why is there only ever like one or maybe two faces cooking at a time in NXT? They've got to have, but I don't know. I mean, Deion Lennox is probably someone that could be a face. See, I thought he was involved in some way with that Carmen shenanigans as well as the Sean Spears.
Yeah, he was like in the skits with Carmen and Adonis, but like he never really said anything.
But he was
I don't think he actually said anything.
He was kind of like a voice of reason to a degree. Like he'd throw out a one-liner about how like they were being very like. I mean, I feel like he was mostly telling people they were being emotionally immature. Like, I think they were trying to do some kind of, maybe it was like a psych major angle because he also was wearing glasses and like was holding a book a lot. So I don't know if like that's shifted. Yeah, if there was a way to build, I would think more compelling, like a couple more compelling good guy types, because unfortunately you have a lot of cool stories and a lot of cool characters, but like I don't know, I like seeing Lexis King and Wes Lee fight, but also I don't really necessarily at the end of it, I'm not like
it's not the same.
I'm not gonna get that moment, right?
No, and I think the women's division, like literally all the way across, like I just that's what I'm hoping for. I'm also just hoping the draft changes things. I kind of hope they switch up the draft a little bit and hoping that NXT can draft from the main roster as well.
Yeah.
In the draft. I think that would be something huge. I think it'd be cool if WWE could draft WWE ID prospects. I think that'd be super cool. I think it'd be really cool to change up the draft for NXT a little bit. instead of just NXT losing everybody. Like, why can't they get people? Like, that's kind of unfair, right? Like, it's a draft, but only Raw and SmackDown get people,
and anyway,
and NXT just loses people. It's like, all right, can we switch that up? That's really not fair. So I'm hoping they switch it up, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's just a hope. But next week, Amanda, we got to make picks real quick before we go. Next week's show in Atlanta, we got some bangers, folks. And I'm trying to get the graphics, so I'll save that one for last because that's the biggest match. Let's start with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Naomi and Bianca Belair against Lash and Jakara, the Meta Girls. Who wins?
Meta Girls, because Jade interferes. And then it's a reason for Jade to be on NXT, and Jade gets drafted to NXT.
So you got Jade coming back before the Rumble?
Oh.
That's interesting.
No, that's a dumb idea. That's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know if that can.
That's not happening, Amanda.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be super cool. Then the Meta Girls will be champions. But yeah,
I think they're gonna retain. I don't. Yeah, there's no like storyline out for that. No.
I got Naomi and Bianca retaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not. So they did tease Trick and Oba to happen eventually, that he gets next. But Trick actually already has a match next week, so it's not Trick and Oba next week. Trick Williams versus Wes Lee. They did announce that earlier in the night.
Oh, that's right. He slapped the taste out of his mouth.
He did. Put a mark on his face too. Looked like he got mauled by a cougar. Trick Williams and Wes Lee. I got Trick.
I think Trick. Unless that's that could be a good chance for Tyson and Tyreek to like sort of secure their like that they're with him as like
true, because they didn't do nothing when Trick smacked them. They just stood there and looked dumbfounded.
Because I do think that was just like awkward. So I don't know if that was leading up to be like, oh, this is how you go from Wesley singles guy to Wesley faction leader, I guess. But yeah, that's probably Trick, to be fair, because you still have Oba coming up. So
all right, 2 more matches real quick. NXT Women's North American Championship, Fallon Henley defending the title against Shotzi. Fallon retains.
I think Fallon retains.
That's what I got too. I think Stephanie will take the title from Fallon eventually.
Yeah.
Last match, tag match. We talked about it. It was our best of the best tonight. The promo with Bayley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. Well, guess what? Next week we get a tag match. Bayley and Julia against Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Who wins, Amanda?
I think the heels win. I think Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez win. I think it keeps it moving. Yeah. They gotta give them a win. They keep losing. I
think so too. I'm gonna go Julia Bayley though, but I like what you're saying. They definitely need the win more than Julia Bayley. But I'm going Julia Bayley. I think it's tough to have Bayley come down in a tag match. I think they have to win. Because then Roxanne can be. I don't know. I could see both ways. I could see Roxanne.
I could see Bayley being down to be pinned though. And that's the reason why it's Bayley, because Bayley is like, yeah, whatever it is. And then that way you get away without having Julia. Because I don't think you can have Julia eat a pin.
No.
Although I'm not necessarily the kind of person that thinks that if they lose, it like weakens their whole thing. I feel like when we were kids, the champions lost sometimes.
They did, but it's too early. She can't get pinned yet. It's just too early.
It's not even been a month.
No. So that's a big next week in Atlanta, everyone. So we'll be tuned in, and we'll be right here for the recap, the post show leading up to we're getting close to the Royal Rumble too.
Is there Cody Rhodes too, or am I making that up? Is there Cody Rhodes next week, or he's just on Raw Atlanta next week?
I don't know if I've seen Cody.
I might just be making things up. Forget it. Don't worry about me.
Look at you just making rumors up. I didn't see that.
Someone's like, I'm gonna have a story, and it's gonna say that Amanda said. Amanda did not say. Okay, guys. Well, I don't know. I maybe did the stream wrong because there was none of the normal peeps, but maybe they're just like living life, doing something fun tonight. I was excited to see Eric though. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you. Where can the good people find you, DC?
Just follow me I'm on Twitter at DC Hendrix. I'm on Instagram at official DC Hendrix. Check out my podcast, WrestleHolics Podcasts. Other than that, what about you?
Very good.
Birthday week, girl.
Birthday week.
That's right.
I think Instagram is where I'm the most entertaining, to be fair. What do you think? I think Instagram.
I'd say Instagram, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
I get scared of Twitter. I think the people on Twitter terrify me. And I just feel like I'm a walking wrestle cringe. So I get scared to be on that website every day, all day. So I just don't do that much. Blue Sky's kind of fun. You can find me there. But yeah, Instagram is the one that I type in here so I can remember it. It's at _Amanda . Don't forget the dot. Amanda dot Savage. Yeah, come see me there. There'll be birthday shenanigans. I'm excited about my cake, to be honest. So follow me on Instagram so you can see my cake. Okay.
See everything.
See almost everything. Subscriptions coming this year because I'm getting old. And you can't be a 40-year-old making OnlyFans.
Right.
Are you allowed to say it on this? I don't even think you're allowed to say those words. I'm terrified to get body slam.
Probably not,
because I said some dumb shit, and it's like, oh, oops! Every view gets $0 because Amanda kept saying
we're gonna try to do the show next week, and it's gonna say you're banned.
Like, no, sorry, Amanda, you're out of here. Goodbye. Okay, guys. Well, we'll let you go so that we don't run into any GCW time. Although, let's be honest, if you're here to watch a GCW related podcast, aren't you really excited to hear about me talking about my birthday?
Hey.
I bet you are.
That's right.
Okay, friends. We will catch you soon. We'll see you next week.
That's right.
And that is all. Thank you for joining us. Bye, besties.
Peace and love, everybody.